a case brought by Haimbe. You all know that Haimbe is a candidate in Lusaka Central. And according to him, when the BP workers have been complaining that African Life has not paid them from 2000, and the Anglo-American workers have not been paid from as far back as 2000. The KCM retirees have just been swindled of their payments by Aflife, Satunya Regina Fund, and Benefit Consultants. The Anglo-American workers, in a matter called Mutonga and others versus Aflife, they came to court to seek for redress. The matter was sent to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court actually ruled that these people needed to be paid, because from 2000 to about 2014, their case was being thrown around from one courtroom to another, to the point where the Supreme Court sat in Kabwe and actually directed that the case for Anglo-American ex-employees being heard by the High Court. So that's the matter before the High Court. My alleged contempt was to the extent that at the transfer, at the time that Anglo-American separated from over 60 employees, among the separated employees was one Munakupia Hantuba and Bryson Havanzuka. Now, strange enough, the defendant in this matter is Aflife, and the one who is in the dock defending Aflife is Munakupia Hantuba, who was also one of the former workers of Anglo-American. At their transfer, we all know that Anglo-American transferred them with a sum of $300,000 US. My simple question, which they say is contemptuous, was to ask as to whether even Bryson Havanzuka and Munakupia Hantuba were not paid their pension, because it appears to everyone that only the guards and the cleaners are the ones who have been fighting the case to get their terminal benefits paid. I don't think that's contemptuous. In the area statements, which I said that African Life, Satunya, and Benefit Consultants, companies owned by Hakainde Hichilema, were swindling pensioners. Hakainde ran to court to sue me for defamation. This matter came to this High Court in September 2020. Up to this day, it's not on the cause list as to when I will hear Hakainde Hichilema being in this court. The first defendant in the defamation case is Hakainde Hichilema. I'm actually shocked that this contempt case came hardly 2-3 weeks ago and is already on the cause list. My simple answer to this is that this is a pattern by Munakupia Hantuba. Whenever he wants to take money from the pension funds to his friends, they create miscellaneous cases. Sometimes he employs his own uncles as lawyers for Africa Life. This time around is this young man who is standing in Lusaka Central. I can assure you that the whole case is frivolous, miscellaneous, and is just meant to fundraise for the campaign for Haimbe, because he's the lawyer who was running to my residence. He called me one day and said, "We have some court papers to save on you." I said to him, "Look, I'm not at home. Can you come back on Monday?" You know what he did? He left them on the tarmac. I can't find papers on the tarmac and start opening them. The next time he came, I saw that in the press I'm being sued for contempt. He has never saved me. This is a criminal matter where you need to personally save the person who is contemptuous. I've never sung so low as to deride the integrity of our courts. But what I can say is that this cabal of criminals, Munakupia Hantuba, Hakainde Hichinema, and his cabal of lawyers, they are simply swindling the pensioners. Now, let's come to the case of the BP employees.
Madam, sorry to cut you short. Don't you think you're being unfair on Mr. Haimbe because he's just been hired as a lawyer to defend those people?
You are making an opinion, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that in every matter that comes to my attention, he is the lawyer on the defamation case. Why isn't he pushing that the defamation case be put on the cause list so that we can get to here?
Matters that are usually put on the cause list by the court, not the lawyer.
Excuse me, I don't know if you are here to listen to me or you are a reporter. You are here to defend Haimbe. Haimbe can answer on his own. I don't expect a journalist to be answering on behalf of someone whom I'm talking about. The question you are asking me, let me finish what I'm saying. Haimbe did not save me. Are you disputing that? Haimbe simply telephoned me and said there was a matter. And before I could see that, it was all over the press. That is his pattern. Even in the area case of where Hakainde was suing me for defamation. And I'm saying that from September last year to date, we have made all the submissions. There's nothing that is coming up. And it's simple because the witnesses to that whom I listed included Munakupia Hantuba, Bryson Habanzuka, and Hakainde Ichlema. Defendant number one, not according to me, according to Haimbe himself, defendant number one is Hakainde Ichlema. And you go and read what we submitted. It simply puts Hakainde on the spot to answer questions of propriety on acquisition of properties and farms related to Lima Bank. The point that you want to say, you and I are educated. On a moral high ground, is it correct that a mayor pump attendant for BP Zambia should not get their pension for 20 years because you have lawyers who can juggle files in this high court? Is it correct that Expendito Chipalo, as we are talking now, he's on a dialysis machine, paying 700 kwacha, and the lawyers for Half-Life are driving to court and are driving big vehicles, money of which is being obtained and paid for by Africa Life, the manager for their pension fund? Is that correct? Is it correct that Munakupia Hantuba was transferred from that building to Africa Life by Anglo-American, and today he's a director at Africa Life, and for him he's in full-time employment, and everybody that was transferred, guards and cleaners, they are out in employment in Rwanda. But for him, he must come to this court and defend the fact that they didn't pay the workers. In fact, in area rulings, in his submission, he said, when you read what is on record, he said, no, yeah, we got the money, but these people are lumpens. If we pay them now, the money will be too much, they will die. So he's safekeeping their money. And today when we comment, because we see these people, they come to us, they are struggling. Mr. Chipalo will probably be the next BP employee who will be 126 who will die, because right now, every week, he's on a dialysis machine. So these are issues which you can't say, no, Haimbe can't defend himself. Haimbe knows I'm not an officer of the court. Haimbe knows that I'm not schooled in law. He comes to my house and throws the documents on the street and goes on internet, because for UPND, they have the power of Facebook. Then he advertises, Nawakwi has been sued for contempt. Contempt is a criminal matter. You must serve the papers on the individual. You can't serve on the lawyer. You can't even throw them on the street. You must prove to this court that you've been serving. And I think these matters are very, very important. And you members of the press, please get on the side of the poor people whom the educated are stepping on because they have no voice. These issues which we discuss go to the core of morality. For example, you colleagues have even forgotten the plight of Feluna Hatembo. It's the same court which ruled that the matter is out of time. If you take the case of BP employees, the Supreme Court ruled and said, award them their pensions. But because the time has taken is too long, it's over 20 years, can you take this matter to the professionals to find out how much interest is due to the workers? It came to court from I don't know how many years ago to date. Today, there's still no judgment. And lately, you saw that useless judgment from Justice Charles Zulu. You know what he said? He says, take it to Pensions and Insurance Authority. People are not party to the argument. When the Supreme Court makes a decision, a lower court cannot reverse that. How come in the case of these people who are owed money by Hakainde's company, judges are just throwing judgments which don't make any common sense? We have another latest case of Barclays Bank, where Hakainde Hichilema was chairman at Barclays Bank, takes the pension to his company, Africa Life. To date, 20 years down the road, people are not paid. We cannot just throw them around and say, no, Haimbe is just a lawyer. He's a lawyer who is educated by people's taxpayers. And in his law work, he must have morality at the heart. He must have a human face at the heart that people are suffering on the street. For me, I can tell you, I have no time for these young men because they grow their net worth from swindling poor pensioners. And for me, that I can commit contempt every week, every day until I get to Bukowe. Talk for another.